Hello, everybody. Welcome to Reality Derby. I am Marcus James Dixon.
And I'm Denton Davidson, and today we are talking to Deal or No Deal cast off and reality television legend Parvati Shallow,
Yes, she's one of the big ones
one of the best.
to ever have played. She is a winner of Survivor Season 16 Micronesia. She's played multiple times, and she did really, really well on the show, this quirky little game show slash reality show hybrid.
She went home, I think, the very first moment she lost safety.
Yeah, she was safe like 9 weeks in a
It
row.
was incredible.
We talked to her about the luck aspect of this game and how she did have luck on her side for most of the game, and we talk about her survivor future. But we also talk about her family alliance, my lovable Dixon and David, and she goes into whether she thinks that she would have cut them if she had to. What do you think she should have done?
I mean, she's the Black Widow. She has to cut them, although I feel like she's sort of embellishing the truth a little bit. I don't know if she's as ruthless as she always says she is, because I feel like when we look back on the episodes, she's always talking about going to the end with David. There's multiple episodes where David was caught saying, "I have to get rid of Parvati." So I feel like he was much more willing to go against her than she was against him, and I don't know what the benefits or negatives would be to going to the end with David, but I don't think either of them were necessarily tied to Dixon like as much as they were each other.
That would be a really good finale, the Black Widow versus the Golden God. I would love to see that.
Everyone wanted to see that, so it was disappointing to see her go the way she did, losing to the banker. But I mean, once you get to that point, it's like a 50-50 shot.
Yeah.
So that's sort of the frustrating thing about Deal or No Deal is they play this strategic game, and then it's all up to like what's in a briefcase.
So let's have Parvati explain what she would have done in the situation where she never had to face, going against them. But what would she have done? Let's find out.
Oh, I loved the family. The best alliances happen organically without being forced or trying to come up with them. And when we sat on the swing and Dixon was telling us that story about his family, we already had an emotional connection and a bond with him. Dixon had already talked to me the previous day on the beach. He was a fan of mine from Survivor from a while ago. David and I had an organic connection because he's the Golden God from Survivor Australia. So the three of us coming together felt like stars aligning. And that alliance became this just force of nature that no one could break apart in the game. And I think sometimes things are meant to be, and then they have a power collectively that is stronger than anything else in the game.
Would you have cut David if it meant going further?
If I would have had to, yeah. I mean, if I needed to cut David or Dixon to win the game, I would have done it because my priority was to win the game. That's why I don't go out here to help other people win. I go out to win. Even if I have real relationships, I always think like ask for forgiveness, not permission kind of a thing. Like I would apologize at the end and be like, sorry, I had to cut you. David would understand because he's a Survivor player, so he gets it. Dixon, I think, would also have understood because Dixon was gaming. He was like trying to play other alliances and other people. I think he probably would have taken a shot at me if he could at some point or thought it would advance his game.
I love what she said, where she's like, I'm just going to ask for forgiveness, not permission, and then I'm just going to apologize at the end. I think that's the way to do it.
I think that's a life lesson we can all have. That
Yeah.
helps you achieve success everywhere. But I agree with her. I do think David probably wouldn't have cared at all. And as someone from Survivor, I think Dixon would have pretended to care maybe more than he was, like maybe more than he actually does. He would at least milk it for a little bit and make her feel a little guilty.
I loved those three together. Like, I want a spin-off just of the family. Can we make that happen?
It made the whole show. I mean, when you look at the rest of the cast, the rest of the final even, I was kind of like, okay, like once Parvati was gone and Dixon and then we had just David and Letty and CK, I just was missing those other cast members a lot.
So you mentioned the Black Widow earlier, and I did ask her about that persona. It came around Survivor season 16, her winning season, Micronesia, and she's kind of embraced it over the years. So here is her talking about that.
The Black Widow was formed in season 16 of Survivor, my winning game, Survivor Micronesia. where I said the girls are the Black Widow Brigade, and we're spinning the guys around and devouring them one by one. The Black Widow is kind of an archetype. She is a woman who is unapologetic for being strategic, for being bold, for making moves that serve herself, and cutting ties with her family or people who love her whenever she needs to advance herself in the game. I think that persona has followed me from every game that I've ever played since 15, 20 years ago in Survivor Micronesia. And I can't shake it.
I mean, she can't shake it, so she has to embrace it because everyone knows about it. But I find it fascinating just to even watch her in, like, talking through interviews. She stares into your soul when she's speaking to you, and I can see how she wraps people in these games around her finger because it's very flirtatious, even though it's not. Like, she's not being flirtatious. She just has that way of, like, making you feel like you're the only person in the room.
Is it her venom? Is she
It
really a
is.
spider?
I mean, she's got a little spider bite in there. She's definitely someone I feel like you could trust easily, and then she cuts the throat, and that's what she's known for.
So also on Deal or No Deal Island, there is this huge luck aspect. And we talked earlier about Parvati was safe for almost 9 weeks in a row. And so I asked her about the luck aspect.
Luck feels like an added element to the game. And sort of like on Survivor, nature is the added element that you're playing with. And then here on Deal, it's luck. Because we have our basic needs handled. We've got showers, food, beds to sleep in. So we're not suffering in that way. But when you're going out to play these challenges, it matters what order people go in. It matters which suitcase you get. They're unmarked cases. Like, how do you even know when to jump for what, or when to run out for who, and who to partner with in a challenge? Are you going to take the banker's bonus? What's in there? There's so many unknowns on Deal or No Deal that the island rewards people who can surrender control. So if you're not trying to muscle or force your will upon others, I think you're going to do really well in this game. And that was how I showed up to each challenge. It was like, I trust myself. I'm good in challenges. I am lucky. And I would say these things to myself, like, God is on my side. The universe is supporting me. Luck is on my side. Everything's working out for me. And when I said those things to myself, my body just was like relaxed. And when I would show up to the challenges, I would just ask for what I needed. I'm like, Letty, I need you to go down the hill. And she'd be like, okay. Philip, go down the hill. Okay. Like, what? How? Why are you guys going without a fight? So, I think that was it. I think it was like this full-on surrendering of control and trusting that the universe had my back.
Very interesting comparisons there to Survivor and Deal or No Deal. Talking about luck versus nature as the added element to the game. I thought that was an interesting comparison. And luck really is a big part of it. What were your thoughts?
I remember when I was asking her that question and she came back with that answer, I'm like, did she plan this answer in advance? Because it was so perfect. I wonder if she's given it to other people or if this was like an exclusive for us. But it really was interesting comparing the survivor nature to the luck of Deal or No Deal Island. And, she did have luck on her side until she didn't. And at the end, no more luck. Sorry.
Which is frustrating. That's kind of the most annoying part of the show, I think, is the luck aspects. But I will say, I also found it interesting that she manifests these things. I mean, she's sort of into a little spirituality, whatever it is, and just the meditation or the manifestation. She walks into things saying, I am lucky, luck is on my side, and look at where it's gotten her so far. I mean, not anywhere this game, but she's won millions of dollars playing reality TV show games. So,
would you call her the Meryl Streep of reality?
I mean, that's an interesting connection. I don't know if I would call her the Meryl Streep of anything, but she is probably the most success. I mean, I don't know. Who's the most successful? Sandra?
Maybe Sandra? Yeah.
Sandra's up there.
So maybe Parvati's the Viola Davis then.
Yeah.
her name over the years has been butchered so many times in so many fun ways. So here are some of the mispronunciations that Parvati has received over the years.
Havarti, Parmesan, poverty. You always get that one. Pavarti, Pavarotti.
Okay, so many cheeses. Those are my favorite ones: Havarti, Parmesan.
Parmesan was my favorite.
I feel like people say poverty all the time, though, and you like unless you're really listening for it, you almost don't even hear it because poverty is very hard to differentiate.
And Pavarotti, the opera singer, she does look just like him, so I totally get the comparison there. And then obviously we have to talk about her Survivor future. Survivor 50 is coming up. We asked her if she would be interested in that, so let's hear what she has to say. And also she teases when she is going to be on Australian Survivor versus the World coming out in July.
Winners at War wasn't great for me. I think that if it would be an American version of Survivor, I would have a hard time because it doesn't seem like people want to play with me or they haven't in the past. So I'm not really like feeling compelled to go out. I don't want to play a game if no one wants to play with me. That's no fun. You know, I did get invited to play Australian Survivor versus the World. I played that a month after Dondi last year. And that was a wild ride because it was international. So it felt like the Olympics of Survivor, this big sort of global moment in time. And that was like really special and cool.
She'll do it if they ask.
Confident.
I mean, that's her. This is what she does. And I feel like anyone who's saying, "Oh no, like I'll see how it goes," like everyone wants to be on Survivor 50. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And also, time has passed. I think if they get the right cast, hopefully none of them want to play with each other. Like they should get people who are known to be so great at the game that no one should feel comfortable working with any of them. The problem is that they have like all these outside friendships now, so you never know what sort of alliances like an all-star cast can come back with, and that always like has been terrible for like an all-star Big Brother. I feel like Survivor has been able to manage that better with returning players.
Right. And with so many people coming back to Survivor over and over and over, like Parvati, Rob, Suri, I asked her maybe just name somebody that's only played once that you would have your Parvati stamp of approval to return again. And she said Natalie Bolton, her Black Widow Brigade member from season 16. I think that's a great choice.
It is a great choice. I don't really even remember that. Like she gets lost in the shuffle.
She does.
She's in Parvati's shadow. So
she was involved in that whole Eric Reichenbach thing of giving his idol to the ladies,
which is the greatest moment in Survivor, in my opinion. But in my mind, I think of Parvati and Suri. Like those are the faces I see in that in that moment happening. So I agree. Natalie's under the radar, and she deserves another chance to be in the limelight.
So, okay, let's talk about our thoughts overall for Deal or No Deal Island. It's not the most perfect show on television, but it's really fun, and they have super emotional players on this show. Like, compared to Survivor, where everyone's deep thinking in their head, this is more like people that yell and scream at you. This is like old Survivor almost, and I kind of missed that on Survivor.
I like it a little bit more, and I think it was also, I will admit some of the cast was like a little sleepy. Maybe they should have kept some of the early people that were lost, but I don't know. I feel like they needed Parvati and David, who are veterans of this game of Survivor, to hold the cast together. But other than that, it is an entertaining show. I really enjoyed it towards the end, especially when Parvati just like threw caution to the wind, and she was just being straight up mean to CK at some point when CK was bothering her in the shower. She's like, just get out of here. Like, she just didn't care anymore. And that's what we like to see, is just more fighting.
I love Joe Manganiello as the host. He's fantastic. And I love I was an old fan of Deal or No Deal with Howie Mandel. I would watch that every time it was on. And so this is kind of like mixing that with some of the other elements that we love on reality shows. And I will tease a little bit. I've seen the finale, and you have not?
I've not.
So I can't say what happens, but it's absolutely bananas. That'll be my one-word tease for the finale of season 2, bananas. Thank you, everybody, for watching Reality Derby. We will be back next week to talk all things American Idol, and we may have a special guest as well.
It'll be exciting.
Cool. Bye-bye.